Dare the Devil, Disciples of Evil is a series of action documentaries on the history of daredevils and stunt performers. Enjoy the show.
I tell you, my heart's pumping, my adrenaline's flowing. I'm gonna make this jump, and I ain't a joking.
This man came to me with a storyline. I saw his video, it just blew my mind. He talk about life and death with a blink of an eye.
Going about 85 miles an hour, and I went a little too far, and on the crash I broke my back, collarbone, my shoulder, I broke my arm and my wrist and crushed a lung, and spent 10 days on a critical list and quite a few weeks in the hospital.
The amazing thing about it is you got over the car.
Oh, I cleared them. There's a bunch of trucks. I sure cleared them, but I went a little too far.
When the shit's all said and done, records will shatter. Super Joe ride. Adrenaline pumping, heart starts thumping. Super Joe ride. He fears no evil, erotic and evil. Super Joe ride. Adrenaline pumping, heart starts thumping. Super Joe ride. He fears no evil, erotic and evil.
The scene set, the Toronto International Center of Commerce. The occasion, Cycle 74. This one tonight, without putting more pressure on you, has you concerned. I heard you talking to my colleague, Evel Knievel, and you were telling him how your stomach is turning, which his does too, by the way.
That's right, Mr. Cosell. Two and a half years ago, I jumped at the Cal Palace in San Francisco. I tried this very same jump, and I missed the jump. I hit a wall, hit on at 70 miles an hour. Someone spilled soda pop on the floor. I was on a critical list for 3 days, and at that time I vowed never to jump indoors again. And because the floors are slippery, you got confining walls, and there's lots of things in the way, and it makes these indoor jumps are really tough. And this jump here will be about 130 to 140 foot. It's a big jump.
Howard Cosell, here again with Evel Knievel in the Toronto International Center of Commerce. You're looking at the second pass or warm-up of Super Joe Einhorn. There'll be still another pass or warm-up, but as he came up that very narrow, confined area, I think our initial emphasis should be on that, Evel. How close the area is, how tunnel-like it is.
Howard, I just heard the motorcycle go sour on one cylinder. It's not running right, and he has it in a confined area. He's starting way back in the theater, trying to come up on the power curve to make the jump, and I think that he is having some problems with the motorcycle. It doesn't sound to me like it's running right.
Joe, obviously you're having trouble with the machine. What does it seem to be?
Well, it don't seem to be getting sparked to me.
It's electrical.
That's what I told him. I think I might have blown a diode.
You got a backup machine.
I've got one, but you know how those are. You don't like to use them. I'm going to see if you put another diode in, it might just blow again. And it might not blow, but as soon as it gets hot, it'll blow. And then it could blow when I'm going up the takeoff ramp. And now things are getting kind of touchy for me. And
I know how you feel. I know they are touchy. I know how I felt when a machine is broken down. I'm not trying to advise you on what to do, but while they're working on that machine, if you get your backup machine started up, let it warm up good, and if you don't have this machine and you let that machine warm up properly, maybe you'll be able to get across on it. But you make the decisions. You're the man in charge of your own performance.
That's what I'm looking at right now. And but the main thing we try to do is not fall short. That's the worst thing you can do in my book, is fall short. And well, all I can do right now is I'm kind of terrified, to tell you the truth,
Joe,
Mr.
you go over there
Cosell.
and take care of your business, and Howard and I wish you the best. You go take care of your business.
And don't do anything foolhardy.
No.
Are you kidding me?
They seem to sense that he's got a problem. We'll see if he gives us the thumbs up signal now and see if he's going to go. He's coming back. There's the thumbs up sign. He's ready to go now, and I'll tell you, he's going to come and he's going to get across this jump. I can feel that he's going to do a thing that he's going to get across it, Howard.
All right. Note again how narrowly confined this tunnel-like area is. Here he comes.
Going, and here he comes. He's hitting the approach ramp right now. There he goes, up and over it, get it across. Look at that
Beautiful jump. He did it. He did it. A great jump, Evel. You've got to give it to that kid.
He did it, Howard, and he had a lot of pressure on him. You got to hand it to him, I'll tell you.
Under the most adverse circumstances imaginable. You can call men like Super Joe Einhorn and Evel Knievel nuts. You can call them publicity hounds. You can call them whatever you want. They are professional daredevils.
And the obvious reason that we're here is to see Super Joe Einhorn break his own record, motorcycle jumping of 144 feet. That's ramp to ramp. This time, Super Joe is going to clear 15 buses, which is also a world record. The things you might not know about this young man is that he's 38 years old from Northern California, and a lot of his people are watching him out there right now. This is a wheelie done earlier this afternoon as he gets ready. He has broken bones in his body 200 times. He's broken his back 3 times. He's suffered severe concussions 4 different times. Young people, don't go out and try this in your front yard or with a bike. This is for the professionals. Am I right about that,
That's
Debbie?
right. If you just stop and look, do you see all the professional people around him? These people are trained. All of his machinery, everything is perfect. He's jumping under perfect conditions.
I am nervous. I don't know if I've ever been this nervous. Forget your Super Bowls and all the things you hear about. This is one man, and why they risk it, why he wants to do it, I don't know. He's got the record already. He's going by. Get him, Joe.
All right.
160 yards, you'll go beyond those platforms. And landing,
He's ready for it.
And that landing is crucial, isn't it? You actually flew past your ramp when you...
Most definitely. That's just so crucial. And he'll know once he reaches midair if everything's going to go all right. Here he comes.
He has broken his back 3 times before. He's off. Let it go.
Here he comes.
All right, he came off. He got it! Joe got up. The bike is down the right wall. Super Joe Einhorn cleared it easily, slid off the bike, and came up like a baseball player going into second base.
Tell you what, I'm the first one ever to walk away from a jump like that. I tell you that right now, 190 feet, whatever it was.
But here it is, Joe.
Okay, I never thought I'd get. I never thought I'd get it up too high.
What kind of speed?
Oh, I was doing almost 90.
90? Boy, you were down that ramp a long way.
I'll tell you what.
Oh.
Yeah, well, you know, that's how you get a name like Super Joe Einhorn. You got to be super.
Oh, I'm rich now, too. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I made a whole bunch of money last week.
Well, good. How much did you, last week?
Yeah.
How much did you make?
I bought me a brand new Golden Eagle Executive, the biggest bus there is on the road, the best one, a brand new one, 1976 model, and I got me a great big cattle ranch. And the next time you see me, I'll wear a bigger cowboy hat, too.
Super Joe ride.
I got everything we need in the hospital.
All right. Give me some people on the side.
Fear serves a purpose, and I've rid my body of it, but perhaps that wasn't a smart thing to do, because there's certain times in your life that you shouldn't be afraid. And man's main instinct, same with an animal. Man and animal, same instinct, main instinct. It's not to collect money or love, it's for survival. It's your first instinct.
Super Joe ride.
They're lucky. But poor old me, I'm going to be awful thankful if I'm around here tomorrow morning.
I'll get a pulse rate on him as soon as I can. He could have been better than I was. Better than I am. Being a good motorcycle jumper is having the ability to not just do it once, but get back up after you're down and do it again and again. And Joe did have that in him to do that.
You feel all right, though, huh?
Feel alive,
That's all that counts, I guess.
I guess.
Do you remember anything about the jump at all, Joe?
Very little, very little.
And I guess you don't want to remember either, do you?
I do. I want to know.
Well, you'd like to.
I'd know what happened.
Let me ask you this. You had a great career. You jumped so many times, but if you had it to do it all over again, would you become a motorcycle jumper?
I'm not. I quit. I'm retired now.
You are retired, but would you do it again, do you think?
I don't know when.
You would not.
No, when.
Super Joe ride. Super Joe ride.
Propelled you to do this daredevil stunt?
Well, the way I kind of got in motorcycle racing was kind of funny. I had a friend of mine that worked at a local motorcycle shop when I was 14 years old, and I was such a pain in the neck to him, I think he wanted me to start racing so something would happen to me. More than anything, even loan me his race bike. Well, I tried it, and I think I fell off in every corner, and he was hoping, but I always got up. So I think that's how it all started. But I progressed, and I moved into the novice category, and then amateur, and now into expert last year. And then I wanted to do something really exciting, so I started doing this jump. I wanted to kind of do something like Evel Knievel, but I wanted to do it different. And by different, I'm jumping without a down ramp, and I'm using a smaller size motorcycle.
But why does anybody want to do something like this?
Well, I was looking for something to do different. I've been racing for about 11 years. I've done just about everything. I've done oval track racing, motocross, hill climbing, scrambles, and even road racing. I never won any national championships. I won a lot of small races. I won one race which was classified as an international road race at Sebring, Florida. It was 125 miles. That was the only real big race I won. I almost won Daytona in 1964, but I had engine trouble 2 laps from the finish. Just more or less got bored with it. I wanted to do something really exciting, and I feel as though I have it. I've been asked many times, am I copying Evel Knievel? Well, I don't think so. I'm using a smaller motorcycle than he is, and I don't use a down ramp, and that makes my show different. This thing's got me tied up now. Boy, I'm just busy all the time.
How much travel are you doing, Bob?
Well, an awful lot. I plan to go probably 60,000 miles this year. I'm busy every weekend, at least 1 or 2 times a week I make my jump, and they're usually 400 to 500 miles apart. So it's a lot of highway.
Bob stole the headlines from Evel again with performing the first canyon jump on a motorcycle. This was the first one. He jumped an incredible 152 feet, ramp to ground, no landing ramp. Bob Gill was the first motorcycle daredevil to perform a stunt for a major corporate sponsor. Ryder Truck Rentals wanted something special, so Bob would set a new world record. With that commercial airing in prime time on all major TV networks, not even Evel had accomplished this yet. This historical jump was initially to take place a week or 2 before Evel's sky-cycle jump over the Snake River Canyon. The jumpers of the day were always trying to outdo each other on their jumps, press releases, and press conferences relating to their jumps that would go down in history as some of the most dangerous, most innovative, and most creative. This was the biggest and longest jump ever to be attempted by any motorcycle jumper in the world. His form was perfect. Takeoff was flawless as usual, but he lands short into the embankment. But Bob survived and lived a very productive life. Bob suffered a crushed spine, but not severed, which leaves the possibility of at least 3 types of operations that could give Bob his legs back. You can donate to Bob's surgery by logging on to www.superstunts.us. Click on Bob Gill Walks Again Fund. Initially, he spent 10 months off and on in rehabilitation, and then built this custom Kawasaki 1973 model year street bike with hand controls to operate the bike. Bob could wheel up into the sidecar, maneuver over the cycle seat, and off he would ride. With this kind of freedom of movement, Bob thought of ways to raise money for other paraplegic survivors. Bob wanted to give back to all the organizations who assisted in his recovery. so he arranged a charity ride on his sidecar cycle. He rode over 8,000 miles over 34 days from St. Petersburg, Florida to Hollywood, California, via Boston, Massachusetts, and raised an astonishing $1.2 million, none of which he used for himself. Bob Gill stayed active in the motorcycle jumping business for a few years. After Bob Gill's career-ending injuries at the lake jump, he still wanted to be involved in the business he loved so much. Enter Bob Carell and his kite cycle. Bob utilized his contacts and helped engineer the innovative kite that would enable a motorcycle jumper to jump and glide hundreds of feet in a single ramp leap. The two Bobs joined forces and took the innovative cycle on the road. Better suited to big air jumps, the kite cycle may not have always performed as well as expected in their exhibitions, but Bob and Bob enjoyed their work and kept it real for their fans. Come along for the ride and experience how the kite cycle was supposed to perform when given the right conditions. This test was performed in Southern California, we believe at Paris Raceway, possibly near Lake Elsinore. It was spring 1975. This was history in the making. And then there's Super Joe Reed. He has been chasing that elusive crown for 20 years now. Joe has created more new, original world records than any other daredevil in history. He has worked harder and trained harder than any motorcycle daredevil that has come before him or since. Joe suits up in 100+ degree heat in August 1983. He is going to attempt to jump his RM250 Suzuki motorcycle directly over the blades of 3 full-size helicopters without the aid of a landing ramp, with their sharp steel blades still spinning. Joe created this stunt, wrote and produced and directed this short story action documentary for the ABC television network. The show was called That's Incredible. The old record was a jump over 2 choppers, ramp to ramp. No one in history has jumped this obstacle or beyond to break Joe's record. If you land short, you die.
Adrenaline pumping, heart starts thumping. Super Joe ride! He fears no evil.
Traditionally, peering over your obstacles has added drama to a motorcycle jump. Joe must reach a speed of over 90 miles per hour to clear these obstacles. His low trajectory takeoff ramp and high speed allow him to land without the aid of a landing ramp. As you can see, Super Joe should be doing shaving commercials on TV. It doesn't get any closer than this. No one has broken any of Super Joe's records. There have been copycats, but none have been witnessed, qualified, measured, and certified as new world records.
He fears no evil other than evil. Super Joe ride! Super Joe ride! Super Joe ride! Super Joe ride!
No one has jumped higher, farther, or faster than Joe and Jamie. And Joe's always experimenting with new elements and new ideas. He calls this stunt the bungee jump from hell. Jamie Pamatwan has performed some of the most dangerous stunts in history. Super Joe Reed picked Jamie out of a field of best female riders in the world. Jamie was born in the Philippines and moved here to the U.S. when she was a year and a half old and grew up in Southern California. She is shy but very well spoken, naturally pretty, and has riding skills better than most men. She has raced all over the world and takes direction while performing stunts perfectly.
You ride motorcycles how long?
Probably like seven years.
What ranking are you as a professional right now?
Right now I race professionally for women.
And you've raced internationally also?
I've raced in Italy, I've raced in the Philippines.
So you've had racing experience outside the United States as well as in, and then a stunt performer by the name of Super Joe Reed approached you and asked you if you would like to become a stunt woman in the Team Super Stunts concept. So what do you think about that?
It's different. It's not motocross, it's, you're jumping, wooden ramps instead of, dirt.
The distances aren't that far, but they're probably pretty comparable to some of the jumps on a racetrack. But now you're actually jumping between and pretty soon jumping around, over and under stuntmen acrobats on a trampoline. That's a lot different than racing, isn't it?
You don't usually have people like on the track, in between the jumps or anything, so you don't have to worry about them.
These are close quarters jumps while testing new ramps. No motorcycle jumper had ever jumped over human obstacles or acrobats before. Or performed for free for a group of daycare children for the 4th of July holiday weekend in 1999. The kids love Jamie, gravitate towards her kindness, and they find it very cool that a girl can outjump and outride most guys. We all remember Evel Knievel's ill-fated attempt at jumping the Snake River Canyon in Idaho, the most dangerous and expensive stunt ever attempted in history. After Evel's attempt at the canyon, the other daredevils took note. The daredevils began to think of more and more elaborate and dangerous stunts on an even grander scale. What many people would never know is that Super Joe had even bigger plans. Super Joe came up with a hydrogen-powered jump bike, not a rocket cycle, but an astrocycle, as he calls it. This is what he had to say about it, his new toy.
Before we get away, are you really thinking seriously about going over the Niagara Falls? Or are we going to just talk for we have about 30 or 40 seconds for you to tell me what's going on. Now, we're going to see
I brought my space cycle with me. It's a hydrogen peroxide, real rocket-powered motorcycle. It's not a missile or anything like that. I'm going to go over Niagara Falls next year. It's going to be free to the public. I'm not going to use any parachutes, no life preservers, none of those things.
That little thing there is going to give you that thrust to get across Niagara Falls.
Oh, this is not little. This is, well, it's 750 pounds of thrust, and this will shoot me forward. It'll give me going 300 miles per hour in 6 seconds. And I tell you, you really get smoking on this thing.
Well, Super Joe, it sounds like a heck of an idea, and after all, I guess a guy has gone over Niagara Falls in a barrel, so why not a space cycle, right?
Right, and one more thing, Bill, we just had to speak about Evel. We've been tossing a challenge back and forth for the last 4 years, and the latest challenge was he challenged me to $50,000 to jump off with him. I accepted, and he backed out. He said it wasn't enough money. Just this week, I've obtained sponsors in Canada, a group of Canadian businessmen. They're going to back me for $1 million. So right now, if you don't mind, I'm going to use your TV station to challenge old Evel. Evel, I want to have a jump off for $1 million. We'll start at 10 cars, and we'll keep jumping until one man can't continue. And if you can beat me, you can have $1 million. And of course, I'm looking forward to taking your $1 million.
Winner take all, $1 million.
Right. I tell you, I'm going to chase him clean out of the country.
But even with the bike designed and ready to go, Joe would never get a chance to jump it, as he would be critically injured in a crash in 1977, a mere 9 months before his planned attempt. Fast forward 25 years and enter Super Joe Reed and his dream. Joe and his team have developed and designed a 2-seat rocket cycle using a delta wing lifting body style craft. This cycle will encompass space-age building materials, all built around a computer-aided design machine capable of jumping the canyon and beyond. Joe's ultimate plan calls for him to jump over 1/3 of a mile over a wide section of the Snake River Canyon, just as his hero and mentor, Evel Knievel, had attempted almost 30 years prior. But Joe Reed's stunt has a new twist. His 2-seat, solid rocket booster-powered bike will carry not only himself, but he has invited his hero and inspiration, Evel, to be his co-pilot. So that's where it stands today. Joe's ready to go. All he needs is the finances and crew who are ready to take the Daredevil's dreams to a new realm. We'll have to wait patiently to see if he's able to pull it off on the 30th anniversary of Evel's most grand stunt.
Sit down. Go sit down on the benches. Go sit down on the benches.
On this 4th of July weekend, the kids are cheering their new patriotic heroes dressed in red, white, and blue.
I'm going to lay down on this landing ramp. Yeah, let's go. Start calling out, Jamie, Jamie. Yeah!
Daddy, my mommy's not going to be here. Before we get going, we're going to have a jumping out here.
Jumpin' Jamie Pematwan is there. This is Super Joey Reed, the Prince of Daredevils and the son of Super Joe Reed. He will go down in history as the youngest paid professional motorcycle daredevil at the age of 5 years old. Here at Joey's own daycare center, north of Los Angeles, California, on July 2nd, 1999, Super Joey and Dad go down in history as the only father and son daredevil team to perform together on the same cycle.
Turned his off. One, channel one.
As you see, Jennifer Reed, Joey's supermom, places the 3 blindfolds over Super Joe's eyes. Jumpin' Jamie is on the headset. She calls out directions to Joe through the helmet radio. Daredevil Dad and Son set and break a new world record for ramp-to-ramp jumping while blindfolded.
13 and a half. 13 and a
Go again, talk to him.
Rick Schuster, the helicopter pilot, gives a little insight on these stunts. You will see these stunts in future episodes.
Actually, Joe and I spoke on the phone 7 years ago, and I listened to this crazy guy call me on the phone a number of times, and thought, yeah, right. I talked to some of my buddies that are also in the entertainment industry that do stunt helicopter flying, and they said the same thing. The guy's nuts. But he kept calling me, and interestingly enough, came around, showed me some ideas that he had, and I had done some helicopter jumps before, nothing as creative as Joe's. And he made it happen, and we did it in a way that that made it safe and comfortable for me to do. At the same time, daring enough for him that I've seen people's reactions to the stuff that you're about to see, and it's pretty impressive. Joe likes to talk. I'd say we'd probably talked, 50 hours, collectively. I mean, he likes to talk. He likes to explain in detail what he's thinking of and make sure that you understand his plan and his plan for you. Of the stunts that I've seen that Super Joe has performed, I think they're pretty spectacular. A lot of the stunts that we've seen other people do are pretty generic. Stuff that Joe does seems to be more innovative, a lot more action, spontaneity involved in actually doing the stunt instead of planning forever and ever and ever. We actually go in and do some pretty good stuff. Off the cuff, even though there's safety involved, we still seem to pull out some pretty good stuff. He's definitely trying to be the king. I think that that there's nobody else out there trying to do these stunts. I've been contacted personally before with some of the stunts that I've been involved with Joe before. The people asked some of the questions, not necessarily the right questions. Joe was very patient and continually called me, asking me if this could be done, figured out new ways to do it. So yeah, I think that Joe is definitely going to be the king. I think that if anybody can reach their goals, Super Joe would do it, only because in the past, again, I've worked with people that they talk a good game. They want to do all these great stunts. Personally, I'm involved in the helicopter side of it, and I never hear from them again, or I throw a roadblock in front of them, something that we have to do for safety, and they give up. Joe, for years, has been thinking about these stunts that we've performed, and he made it work. I mean, he was willing to do whatever it took, think of another way to do it, still keep it interesting, but safe. Crazy and ambitious, but that's the unique part with Joe, is that the one thing that he stresses all the time in everything that we do is safety. Even when we're under the gun and it's looking like we're running out of daylight to do a shot, or the people that we're using have to wrap it up in the next hour, and we've got, we need more time than that, we take more time. So safety is the number one thing we always stress, both on my side, the helicopter side, and definitely on his side. Even when it looks like the whole thing is for naught, we still stick by our guns and stay with the safe side. So that really impresses me and makes me feel a lot more comfortable when I'm sitting underneath Joe, either jumping over me with a motorcycle or bungee jumping on top of me. So far, the stuff that we've done and that you've seen in the past has been on the ground, where the helicopters are running on the ground. We'll be the first to do helicopters in the air, so the aircraft is actually flying. A lot of times when we do these stunts on the ground, there's no one in the helicopter while it's running. It's actually shut off, and the blades are spinning with no one in the aircraft. This is a whole new take on it. It's a lot more dangerous for me, and a lot more dangerous for him. So we're working on doing 1 and 2 people crosses over the top of the helicopter, and possibly some more bungee jumps.
This is Brian Myerscough. In his day, he was one of the fastest and most feared racers in the world. From a young age, he was a natural, one of the smoothest, most fluid riders in history. He was a staple at the world's famous Saddleback motocross track in Southern California.
Just because I got a girl like you.
He was on the cover of MX magazines, published globally.
that's haunting you right now. And that was a long time ago, and I figured out how to grow my little ways. I'm running around, stepping out all over town. I used to call them up and take them out, use them up and spit them out.
Here, during his veteran racing career with his stepson, J.D. Myerscough. And here was Scott at CycleStopRacing.com motorcycle shop, where some of Brian's championship rides are archived after being restored. Brian has been a friend of Joe's since 1979, and Joe calls Brian a friend and one of the nicest, most kind, and honest individuals he has ever met. Racing and stunts brought them together. Brian will be with Super Joe at all of his world record stunt productions. Next, there is Ray Harper. They have known each other for almost 14 years now, and Ray tells the behind-the-scenes stories of Joe's Guinness Book of World Records 14-story-high building-to-building motorcycle jump, which still stands as the highest and farthest motorcycle jump in history.
After the jump for Guinness World Records, that was different. It was very strenuous. I mean, the night before, when everything was put up, we pretty much put everything up ourselves. We didn't have a lot of area to work with. The elevators and stuff like that in the buildings we had to go up to the top of, they didn't work very well, so we had to improvise a lot of stuff. I don't know if you've ever tried to lift ramps yourself, but they are heavy. We moved everything literally piece by piece down in from the roof to a loading truck on the street. It took a while. We were really sore when we were done. It was he and I, and this is after he had completed that jump successfully. I mean, it's amazing. Any other stunt performer doing this type of work, like Robbie, he has 200 people standing around helping him put up stuff, take down stuff. He jumps, goes to his trailer, it's over. Super Joe makes sure that everything is up the right way. He probably takes some of the stuff up himself. He definitely brought all of it down with me that day, and there was still more to do after that. I mean, we didn't go home and just kick back. There was more stuff that we had to take care of to make sure that everything was right for that production.
Mostly unpaid, always unrelenting, and of course unsung. These heroes risk it all for their performer. They take time out of their jobs, always taking time out of their lives. They travel on a moment's notice, use their own money to cover bills and expenses, and pull the weight for everyone involved. Joe recognizes two of a long list of people who have helped him in his career of over 20 years. Super Joe will always feature his support team in his productions.
Sure seems strange, just because I've got a girl like you. 40 Clover, been through a lot these years. Over time our love's grown stronger. Maybe it's the past that's haunting you right now. And that was a long time ago, and I figured out how to grow my little ways. I'm running around, stepping out all over town. ways. So worry not your pretty face. Your life is but a picnic in the shade. In the shadows, that's the time to show you now. Our love is bound to work out somehow. Just because the past is haunting you right now. That was a long time ago, and I feel that I've outgrown my little ways of running around, stepping out all over town. That was a long time ago, and I feel that I've outgrown my little ways of running around. All it does is bring you down. Lifetime together. Maybe it's me, but I'm sure that I found true love lasts forever. Just you and me on the merry-go-round till our last dance together. To death do us part, we're high as a kite and light as a feather. Taking our time and making it right. That was a long time ago, and I feel that I've outgrown my little ways of running around and stepping out all over town. That was a long time